Hey guys, welcome to another stream. This time I'm streaming a game called Assetto Corsa. It's been around for quite a long time, but this is the first time I've actually done a race on it. So this should be very interesting. I'm with a new group called GT Club. They've kindly let me join this for my first race. So I'm just heading out to do a qualifying lap, hopefully two, if I can get around the track quick enough. But we are at Le Mans in France, and I'm racing in the Aston Martin Vantage V8, and we're up for 2.4 hours. So thanks all for tuning in. Kick back and relax, and we'll do some racing. So you can see we've got the overlays are a little different. These are actually native to Assetto Corsa, so they're already built into the game with the express purpose for streamers, but also gives me all the information I need to help me race. So you'll see in the top left there, just beside the virtual rear view mirror, there's a app in the group that tells you what part of the track you're on. So I've included that for you guys so that you can see what the names of each of the sections of track are. Very famous circuit, this one of the most prestigious 24-hour races that's run each year. Unfortunately, last year and 2020, because of COVID, we didn't actually have a real life 24 hours of Le Mans, but it was streamed on a platform called R-Factor 2, and all the manufacturers and teams were represented in that virtual live stream, so following in their footsteps. So the qualifying session is only 10 minutes. A lap around this track, a good lap, is about 3:53. So I doubt that I will get more than this out lap and one flying lap. And I also think even if I do manage to start another lap, I'll probably run out of fuel before I complete it. But we'll see by the finish of the second lap. Oh, don't get it off track. So there'll be two classes of cars racing in this race. Be LMP1s and us in the GTE cars. Alright, here we go. So we won't overcook this one. Want to get a good drive off the corner. And here we go. Let's see what we can do. I'm hoping for a very low 3 minutes 53. If possible, a high 3:52. Just some useless trivia for you. In the last week and a bit, practicing for the race, I've done over 100 laps of this track. I don't know exactly how many laps it is, but yeah, it's been a few. Yeah, So you can see at the top of the screen there the countdown. I was a little bit slow getting away. It had already been, our opportunity for qualifying had already been up for a minute before I left the pits. So this will be the one and only lap. So we get 9 laps out of a tank. I think all up there will be a minimum of 4 pit stops for tyres and fuel and repairs to the cars if necessary. To all the Mindset family, I didn't have time to create a livery for this race and for this sim. It's different setup to iRacing, but I will have liveries made up for the cars by the time I get to do another race with them. So Mindset liveries for Assetto Corsa are coming. I just need some extra time to get them done up, as I haven't actually raced on this sim before, even though I've had it for quite a while. This is actually my first race on it, so I needed to practice. Well outside where I wanted to be, miles outside. Miles outside. Oh well, that's right. No problem. It's a long race, 2.4 hours, so really qualifying at the front of the pack isn't that much of a big deal. As with all endurance races, it really doesn't matter if you start from the front or the back. All you're really doing if you start from the front is staying out of any possible dramas that happens in the middle of the pack. But if you start from the back like I've done in previous endurance races on iRacing, so long as you're observant, you can pretty much avoid all the carnage. Just go straight into the pits. All right. Well, there we are. There's one thing with Assetto Corsa, you get to see the pit crew doing their thing. Quite a neat little feature. Something that iRacing needs to get onto, in my opinion. Make it a bit more enjoyable for the viewers. So as I said, 2.4 hour race, about 35 minutes per stint. So 90 litres of fuel burnt, 35 minutes of racing. I reckon there'll be at least 4. If you can get 35 plus minutes out of a tank, 4 should do it fairly comfortably, I believe. Otherwise, yeah, it's going to be a 5-stopper.
I do. Oh yeah. Thought somebody jumped.
Shall
Go.
see.
Oh yeah, you did jump. Oh man. Why would you go?
I've not done starting for Assetto Corsa in a long time.
The reaction times are sublime.
I guess you created a challenge for yourself, having to do a pit stop and still win.
Definitely doable.
The antenna on the front of your car mat looked like a bunch of Allen keys.
Sorry, for those of you who wonder what I'm laughing at, I'm actually
Yeah, I
in
often
a
wonder what the
different
point of them
Discord
is.
channel for the race, in a race,
When you have
race
to
comms.
change your own rims on the side of the track. Snap one of them off and off you go. Wait, is this line form? It's a stagger formation, right?
Yes.
Alright.
Once we get around onto the straight, form up, please.
So we're just going to take it easy for the first lap. Nothing too exciting. Not going to make any
Best of
mad
luck.
dives.
Yeah, good luck, guys.
Good luck, everyone. And any minute.
Go.
Here we go. Well, this is it. So going to be a little careful, a little cautious here. Brake a little earlier. Oh, we got people all over the place. Cut tracks. Always bound to happen at the first chicane. Excuse me, I've been drinking lemonade. Harley, where you going, bud? Okay, so a couple of spots there. See if we can catch up to these guys in front. So as the fuel load drops down, I'll be winding the brake bias forward a bit. At the moment, I've got a lot of weight in the rear of the car with all the fuel on board, so I can afford to run a little bit more rear brake bias. But as that fuel load burns off, about every 30 litres or so, I'll go a couple of clicks forward until the brake bias will be on the front wheels as the back of the car lightens up. If I carry too much brake bias on the rear for too long, I'll end up looping the car under brakes. Oh. Don't want to put it in the fence this early. A little bit too keen on the right foot out of that corner at Indianapolis. I've also learnt fairly quickly you need to stay off the curbs in this sim with these cars. If I have a wheel on a curb in a low speed corner and I go to move to full throttle, that wheel spins up and I end up facing that direction. There is no grip on the curbs. Track's also quite hot, 38 degree track temp, air temperature of 28 degrees. It's a very hot track. I'll put a link to my Discord channel in the video description once I upload it to YouTube for those of you who want to watch me stream it live on Discord, you'll be able to click on the link, and if you download the little Discord app, set yourself up a profile, you'll be able to join my Discord channel and see all the races live. Discord app's available on iTunes or Apple Store and Android for Google Play. Looks like Matt's going to get me on this one. He's close enough to get draft, so I won't fight him. As I said, it's a long race. Don't want to get into an incident at this end of it. Looks like I've got a better run out of the corner than him. Give him some room. Oh! Yeah, that was a bit... that was a bit naughty. At least I didn't get a cut track for that. 12 cut tracks were allowed for this race, which is not too bad. And then when we step over the 12th cut track, we'll most likely get a drive-through penalty. Want to settle into a rhythm. My pace I should be lapping in the 53s once everything settles down. It's always a bit nervous at the start of a race. So Matt was in the Aston that we saw off in that corner in the gravel there in the first lap. He must have got tangled up with someone or outbraked himself. He was carrying a little bit too much speed. He ended up in the gravel. So he's obviously very quick. That little ding dong I had with him there at the end of Mulsanne cost me a bit of time on Ben. We shall see. Ooh, ooh. Wow. Hot track, very slippery. Oh no, I've got a warning. Yes, tricky corner that one. These guys run an Australian Touring Car Championship series with the Aussie touring cars from the late 70s through to the mid to late 90s. They also do a Trans Am series, which I'm going to look at entering. I'm not sure about the ATCC yet. I have to pay a monthly subscription to access the content for that series, so we'll see. I would be keen to run the Group A cars in that series, but as I said, we'll see. The Trans Am is obviously the Camaros and the Mustangs, and that'll be a fun little series to be part of. Try and catch these guys if I can. Message was. That was very lucky. Didn't get a cut track in that entry into Ford chicane. Very lucky. Oh, no way. Yes. Very hot track. Well, all the issues are with me at the moment. Making silly little mistakes. To get those under control. This track's hotter than the practice track. I shouldn't say practice track, the practice session. The track is 2 degrees hotter in the race session than it was in any of the practice sessions. So, what are we? How many laps in are we? Oh, there's no lap count as such, because it's a timed race. We're about 4 laps in. Tyre wear seems to be a lot higher than it was, or is a lot higher than it was in practice. I have all 4 tyres will be well into the yellow. So those vertical bars with the little gap at the top, that's the tyre wear indicator. The main green of the tyres there tells us that the tyres are in the right operating temperature. You'll also see that they'll change colour if I get out of shape. The tyres will turn yellow as they overheat. So the aim is to not overstress them, spin them up or anything like that, lock-ups. those lights up on the dash, just in front of the steering wheel. They're your lock-up indicators. So you can see they flicker as the load comes off the inside tyres. To try and be progressive on the brakes, apply even pressure. Don't just jump on them. Squeeze the pressure on, nice and smooth. Better. That's much better through there. Gentle with the throttle application. Even though the car has traction control, I can still spin the tyres up under initial throttle pickup before the traction control kicks in. By the time traction control kicks in, it'll be too late. So at about lap 8, I believe we'll see the LMP cars as they come through the pack. You can see in the box on the right of the screen under the leaderboard, red means that you're about to be lapped, or that you're lapped. Well, the leaders, when their names are in red, it means that you've been lapped or you're about to be lapped. It's because they're the faster cars. Alright, so this is going to see me into, if I can maintain this pace, I'm 1.1 seconds up on my last lap time, so this should see me at about 53.8 if I don't lose too much time through this next set of corners and through the final chicane. I've struggled with these corners for all of practice, and then just today I got it under control a little. I started picking up time out of these corners. So I lost a little bit there, I've lost a tenth. That's okay. Be happy to be in the mid 53s if I can get there. Go mid 53s. That's about where I should be. Well, we're not gaining on the guys ahead. They're pulling away a little bit, but then I've been told that those boys up front, they're the fast guys, so sneak the brake bias up. Well, been nearly half an hour, just over 24 minutes. It's gone pretty quick. So it should be interesting to see where the second pit stop comes in, how much time we've got left, and how many pit stops we're going to still have to do. Oops, excuse me. Matt's off again. No, not Matt. Sorry. It's Tyler. Mr. Craig, who is also broadcasting the race. He's racing and broadcasting, so you're only going to see it from his point of view for this one. To anyone who's tuning in on Discord, welcome to the stream. Thank you for tuning in. As I said at the start of the race, I'm actually in a different Discord server, so I can't interact with you. But yeah, hope you're enjoying the racing. Actually, there is a way I could interact with you. Might be able to set it up on my phone. Put the phone on speaker. I should be able to talk with anybody that wants to tune in. I need to brake earlier there. Track's too hot to be braking at my practice braking point. She lively. Very heavy cars, these GTEs. Although they have more aero and wider tyres than the GT3, so that shouldn't be an excuse. Need to learn how to drive them better. Oh, here we go. Just as I said, about lap 8. Get the LMP1 cars. Then go round. Because we're the slower vehicle, they have to make the safe pass. It's not up to us to let them by. It's up to them to make a safe pass. All adds to the fun. Unfortunately, I didn't get to deal with them in a very good place. But better than having to deal with them in a chicane. So this is the last lap on the first stint, and it'll be a fraction over 35 minutes. Which works in our favour. The last pit stop may be one we have to make adjustments to on litres on the fly as we come down pit lane, which is okay for the guys up the front because their pit stall is way up the end, way up near the exit of pit lane, but my pit stall is near the beginning of pit lane, so I don't have as much time to make the calculations and input the fuel load required to finish the race. So if it does end up being a 3-stop race, then all well and good. Otherwise, going to be very busy on the keyboard. Inputting the litres required. So 9 litres to complete a lap around here. What they've actually done is they've increased fuel consumption and tyre use. So it's 150% for fuel and tyres. Now this is actually a very good spot for us to deal with an LMP car because it's a nice straight and he can just pull out and blat past us. Alright, stint 1 out of the way, 1 track cut. See what I mean? There's my here's my pit stall. Almost on the mark. So now I have to remember to use the clutch, because if I don't put my foot on the clutch when the pit stop's over and they drop me off the jacks, it almost stalls out and I get a very, very slow start away from the pit box, which is not good. I lose up to 3 seconds. Where are we? Yes, and I'm lucky I've come out in clear air. Mr. Craig, who went a lap earlier than I, he's resumed his position up ahead of me. But that means that he's potentially going to have to do an extra pit stop over me. Possibly. That was close. Now, if I wanted to, I could ease off a little bit and conserve fuel and maybe stretch an extra lap out of the tank over the others. And given that a pit stop is about, I think it's about 38 seconds, I think, maybe, well, we'll see at the end of this lap. So 3:53.5. Although, to be fair, I've been lapping in the 54s. So 3:54, so we'll see what the difference is when I cross the line, and that'll tell us how long a pit stop is, or how long it takes to transit pit lane, including the stop. I think it'll be somewhere around 4.5 minutes. The delta on the dash of the car is saying 37.5 plus 37.5 seconds, so that's a pretty general indication of what a pit stop is going to cost us. It's between 35 and 38 seconds for a stop, so Yeah, there we go. 4 minutes 31. So 38 seconds. Gotta be so patient on the throttle there because it's just a little bit of a dip to the apex. If you get on the throttle too early, there's no front grip and the car just understeers out over the curbing. And if you get out on those little bumps outside the ripple strip, that is a cut track. Ooh, where did Mr. Craig go to? Technical issues? Maybe? Certainly appears to be that way. Very unfortunate. I'm not sure how a disconnect works on Assetto Corsa, whether it teleports you straight back to the pits or you have to get a tow. So unfortunately it appears he's disconnected from the server. I'm slowly losing time to Ben. Losing time into Indianapolis. Not sure about the replays. The replays are saved automatically on this sim. I just have to figure out tomorrow how to access it so that I can give you the view of the car from the outside as it's driving around the track, not just cockpit cam. Hopefully. Well, so far it's been a pretty clean race. There hasn't been any protests made across the race comms. been very quiet indeed. Sneak the brake bias up. I think I made a little bit of a gain on Ben. He might have had a bit of a moment, but I think he'll pull away from me a little bit once he gets his momentum back up again. Slight gain there, so this could be a potential low 53, maybe high 52. It all depends on the final chicane. So they tightened up the track limits there. It turned out that we were able to cut the curbing a lot more than we should have been able to. So I've only had practice from yesterday and today on with the new track limit. There's also been a little bit of tightening up of track limits in a few other sections of the track. Ooh, nah. That was muffed up. Still managed to go a bit faster though. So it wasn't too bad, but it could have been better than that. Unfortunate to lose Ryan from the server. Hopefully you can make it back in. That was a good entry and good exit onto the straight. Gained a little bit of time. If you guys check out the right side of the dash, the top number is my last lap time, and underneath that is the delta or the split, which tells me whether I'm ahead of my previous time or behind it. And then that can give you guys an idea of how I'm doing per lap, whether I'm up or down. Currently I'm up. I do quite well through these chicanes, generally speaking. It's the sharp right hand corner that just cuts back on itself a little bit at the end of Mulsanne and Indianapolis and Anage that I tend to lose a bit of time, although I had found some time there over the last 12 or so hours of practice. And that's what it comes down to, is just practice. Not so much trying to set fast laps all the time, but in these big endurance races you want consistency. You want to be within a couple of tenths, or at least within 4 or 5 tenths, half a second of your previous lap time, otherwise you start to hemorrhage time if you're all over the place. It's no good setting a blistering 51 and then all your other laps being 55s and 56s. You want to be within half a second of your lap time each lap. A lot of people would say you want to be closer than that, but for me, if I'm within half a second, I'm happy. As you can see on the Delta there, I've lost a lot of time through Indianapolis and Anage. It's a painful section of track for me there. As is the final chicane. This section up here. Oh, and I totally got that wrong. That was really bad. And as you can see, I lost nearly 2 seconds there. So that was all because I had a misshift. I hadn't been able to slow down enough, and the gearbox protection had kicked in and stopped me from shifting down to second, which would have pulled a ton more speed off the car. Plus, you saw the car bounce quite severely, so you can't slow down if you don't have wheels on the ground. Ooh, Matt's had a spin. It's alright. He'll take off again. Very quick. Very, very quick. Just turn traction control up a bit more. Matt might be carrying a little bit of damage, possibly. Maybe that could be the only explanation that I'm actually gaining time on him. Because in practice earlier today, he was a lot quicker than I was. Must have damage. I see Ben's taken off away from me again as well. getting off track. Yeah, he must have damage. Where people get into trouble in races when they think they're losing a lot of time, like I am to the others, is that they start doing things that they weren't doing when they were practicing, and that only leads to more mistakes. Puts you in a worse and worse position. As I said, I'm going to try a little bit of fuel saving, because if I can gain an extra lap out of my tank over everyone else, then overall the period of the race, that puts me ahead. Even though I'm a little slower and they'll probably pass me in the pit stop, if we have to pit for 3 laps of fuel, then I'll be ahead. Because potentially, well, I can't now, but let's say for argument's sake they have to pit for 2 laps of fuel. If I can save fuel each stint by 1 lap, that means that I will not have to stop for fuel at the end. As I said, it's 9 litres per lap, and I won't have to slow down that much and travel that far to make it to the line, and then I'll be full power again. And I can go flat out to pit. That's the sort of thing you don't want to do. Brake bias forward a bit. See, I just lost a heap of time there. About 2 or 3 seconds, I reckon. I lost to them. Yeah, so I lost a couple of seconds there on my best lap time. An unforced error. This is good because I'm coming onto the big long straight, and he'll be able to blat past me. without any too many dramas, as long as I don't wipe out in front of him and take him out of the race. So I might start fuel saving, so I'll let off here. The fuel saving strategy. But it won't be any good. Yeah, it could be. As long as I don't lose too much time to the front runners. I was a little bit muffed there. Made a little mistake there. Mr. Ellis is in the pits. Pardon me. To remember to have a drink at the next pit stop. Somebody please remind me to have a drink at the next pit stop. Thank you. Oh, forgot to let off. Supposed to lift off at the 300 meter mark or 300 foot mark, whichever one it is. Saving fuel. Alright, so we have Mr. Davies, I think it is. Yes, I'm keeping an eye out. There's no need to follow the racing line as such there, because those corners are wide radius corners. You can take the outside of the corner and it's really not costing you too much time. Not really sure if this is going to work out, this fuel saving strategy. You can save fuel by going slower. I did that in practice. And it didn't really cost me that much time either. So you think 9 laps, 9 seconds, we're in the pits for 38 seconds. A 9-second gain every stint. Nine fours are 36. If I'd thought about it at the start. Don't want to do that. Yes, it's not going to work on this tank. I have 2 pit stops to go. For cars behind. possibly on the next tank I may be able to stretch it out. We'll see if I can do some fuel saving from the get-go. So pitting on this lap. But bearing in mind also that that's 8 litres of fuel that I don't have to put in the tank, so that equates to a quicker pit stop for me. Right. Thank you for reminding me to have a drink. And he's on the mark. How good was that? Foot is on the clutch with 1 hour and 11 minutes to go. Fuel's in, tyres, let's go. Now, let's try for a bit of fuel saving. Where are we on lap traffic? I think we're pretty good. Not getting any blue flags or warnings. Take it easy on the out lap. Wait for the tyres to come up to temperature, pressures to equalise. Righto, fuel saving, here we come. Lift off at the 300 mark. Coast into the corner, a little bit of brake, down to 80 or 90 kilometres an hour. And here we go, we have an LMP car hot on our tail. Come on, get us. Get me before the end. Right, so there's the 1 litre. So I've managed to nearly managed to save a litre on that lap. Now this is bleeding time, but I'm hoping to pick it up at the other end. Short shifting doesn't work in iRacing, so they take it off the angle of the throttle pedal. So I'm not quite sure if it'll work in Assetto Corsa, but we shall find out. If I get to the start-finish line with 72 litres, then I've saved a litre on this lap. And if I can do that every lap, that's an extra lap of fuel I have to use over everyone else. Oh no, we've lost another one. Oh, that's a shame, we lost one of the LMP boys. You know, we might have almost done it. We may have almost done it. I think we have. Playing the fuel game. This is what it's all about. Endurance racing is all about strategy. Matt's been in for repairs. Looks like he's catching me. 6th. I'm not going to win the race doing this. I believe that the leaders are too far ahead, but I can certainly get myself closer to the front of the pack. Concentrate on what you're doing. See if I've managed to do it here. Oh, not quite as effective as the first lap. But there's pretty much another leader. I don't have a choice here. So this is where I have to let off at the 300. Coast, 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 coast. You would be absolutely amazed how much fuel that saves. I think about 4 years ago, we did this in an iRacing 24 hours of Le Mans, actual 24 hours that we raced for, and we saved ourselves a full tank of fuel over the duration of the 24 hours, and it was enough to bring us up from 8th place to 4th overall. So fuel saving definitely can be done, and is it's an art to get right, because you have to consciously remember, I've got to get off the gas there. But if done correctly, can pay dividends. And you think, in the BMW M8 that we were racing, it was 110 litres of fuel we saved over the 24 hours. We were going a lap or more longer than our competition. we managed to save a whole pit stop's worth of fuel. Unfortunately, we had to run on old tyres, but we were able to finish the race one pit stop less than everyone else. So I need to get to 55. Oh, that was so close. So I think I might have done it. See, that's doing something silly. And I've managed to do it. So there's another litre, or over a litre, that I saved. So short shifting, it does seem to be working. To ask a buddy of mine who's been playing Assetto a lot longer than I have what he thinks, whether short shifting works or it's just lifting and coasting that's working. Mr. Modritsky putting down personal bests. Good on him. Driving in the LMP1 class. They don't do many laps on a tank. I think it's like 5 or 6 laps or something they get out of a tank. I'm not going to make it, I don't think. I need to do this on... I need to get there on 97, I believe. On 47. Yeah, just a little under. But that's alright, not too bad. I'm there or thereabouts. So we have 50 minutes to go. That's what that is. That's fuel consumption per lap. Just trying to figure out what that number was. But because of what I'm doing, the system can't, the computer can't tell the tell us what the actual fuel consumption is. And I'm not sure if it's in number of laps per tank or litres per lap, or how it actually is. He's going for gold. So there we go. I won't save enough now to complete another lap, but I may be able to go flat out to the end of the tank. We'll keep fuel saving because the less fuel that we have to put in, the less time we're sitting still. And that's all advantage us. course, this strategy is better over a longer race period, but still it will give us an increase. We should finish higher than our 6th place that we're currently sitting in, because I don't know if anybody else is saving fuel at this stage either, and that's what it comes down to. Who can do it better? Way you go, Joshua. Sorry. That was silly of mate. His race, I screwed him up there. Sorry, mate. I should have spoken to him. Saved nearly, well, we definitely saved a leader on that lap. So I have 3 laps to go. So it might be working. In fact, it will work. I have 3 laps to go, that's 12 minutes, and we're sitting at 42 minutes. I will fuel to the end of the race. And it's unknown if the other boys will achieve the same thing at this point.
Why have I got a drive-through penalty?
muff that up. Hope you've had a chance to jump on and have a watch, Chris. Unfortunately, I don't have Discord up on the screen, on one of my side screens, so I can't see if you type in a message. But if you flick me a message on Messenger, I'll grab it in the pit stop. I won't have time to answer, but
The one with the drive-through penalty. Did she get too close to the pits? Maybe.
Nope, and I've got 8 out of 12 cuts.
That's odd.
What's telling you you've got to drive through? Is it
Real penalty.
Real penal? Couldn't tell you then.
righto, flat out to the end of the tank for this one. Two laps to go. I'll pit with a few litres left in the tank. Actually, I can run it right out now. Run the revs right out. I've saved enough fuel. I'll cross the line with about 12 litres to go. But I will still fuel save. I will lift off early. Save what litres I can. Keep an eye on what's coming up behind. So we've passed Ben. He must have been in the pits. One more lap, 33 minutes. I think I'll be able to go flat out to the end. I think. It all depends on the leader and where he crosses the line. If the leader was to cross the line before the clock runs out, that means an extra lap for everyone. So fuel saving is still a thing even on the last tank. Still need to save fuel. Because I might need that extra lap. Oh, Harley's gone. That's unfortunate. find out what happened. We'd been testing and practicing together during the week, Harley and I. Sent him a message after the race. See what happened with him. 34 minutes and 45 seconds to go. And this is my last lap. So I do believe I have made it to a tank to go. I should finish on this next tank. It's whether or not the other guys will finish, will make it a tank, or whether they will have to do a splash and dash to the end. I should have about 3 or 4 litres to go, or 3 or 4 litres left when I pull into the pits. So that will be 86 or 87 litres that I need to take. So a few litres is a few litres. Grab 4 new rubber donuts and go again. Ooh, easy now. Four litres it will be. Ooh, 5 litres. Oh, too far. Foot on the clutch, grab a drink. This is it, peoples. 31 minutes, 30 seconds to go. I should be able to go flat out to the end here. All my testing during the week showed us at 36 minutes, 35, 36 minutes per stint. Let Mr. Allow to go. So I should have a couple of laps up my sleeve. What's he doing? all the way out here. Yes, I'm drafting you, mate. Now also drafting like this is saving me fuel. As he goes off the track. The age-old mistake of looking in your rear view mirror when you should be looking straight ahead. As I said, should the race go a lap longer, I will have enough fuel to do should be another 2 laps. So I'm out of draft, I think. Unless he gets a better run out of the corner than I do, I'm out of draft. I think in practice draft was 0.6. A little bit quicker than me through there. And a lot quicker than me through there. That's okay. As I said, I think we're on a different strategy to everyone else. Push it all the way. He's overdriving his car, I think. He's overdriving his car. Some of you may wonder why I am lifting off rather than going full throttle to brake, because by lifting off the throttle it allows the car to settle and transitions better from acceleration to braking. A settled car is much more stable under brakes. You can brake harder with a lot more confidence in a car that's transitioned from acceleration to braking. And this will be, this is going to be interesting. Going to be very interesting indeed. To see where this ends up. See whether my fuel saving has actually made a difference or not. And what's quite unusual for me, touch wood, is I've only cut the track once. I did let him catch me a little bit through there, but I tend to coast through there rather than trying to drive the car between the corners. I prefer to just let it coast. Oh, stuffed that up. Carried the throttle for way too long. Coming down there. Damn it all. Anyways, it's all good. Must remember. Lift off, coast, and brake earlier. Well, that lap time proves it all, doesn't it? I'm not pushing, and I've done a 52.8. Oh, and there's a cut track. How the righto. Stupid mistake on my part. Very stupid mistake. And there's another one. So yeah, so not pushing, and I did a 52.8 on the final stint. So, very happy with that. Pity I wasn't doing that at the start of the race. For those of you who might be just tuning in, wondering why I'm not in my own Discord channel and you're not able to interact with me. I'm actually in a different Discord server due to the race. I'm in a race server, so unfortunately all I'm able to do is stream the race on Discord, but I cannot actually speak to you. Sounds like people jumping in and out of the server. Mr. Ellis might be in the pits. That was much better into there, on the power earlier. Don't lose it. Now, 6 laps. Have to hold him off for 6 laps. He is faster than me. Yes, Thomas went into the pits. So, I need to hit my brake markers and generally not make any mistakes. No way. No, there we go. Yeah, not make any mistakes. I've got a 20-second buffer. What does Jim like to say, Dave? Apexes and exits? Old Jim on crew chief. Apexes and exits. Apexes and exits. "15 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Matt's going to have to pit again. wow. Don't do that. Ah, Matt's in the AMR as well. Well, that explains it all. Mr. Hill is not going to make it. Oh, he's going to wait. Nice lad. Oh, he's gone into the pits. Matt's still running. Would have been nice to have been under mindset colours, but being my first race with this club, I didn't know. Well, for this sim at least, I need to work out how to paint the car. So once I do that, I think it's a program I've already used before, but I'll ask some of the guys who know a bit more about it. And I'll ask our resident iRacing paint guru, Mr. Ray Oliver, if he can do me up a file and send it, and then I can import it into the game and paste it on the car. which should be fairly simple. Or he can just tell me how to get a matte finish. That'll be even simpler. Three laps to go. Possible. I hope we have to go for an additional lap. That's my hope. Is that Joshua crosses the line before the clock counts out. So I'm not 100% sure how they're going to work that. But by rights, if he crosses the line before the clock zeroes out, that should mean an additional lap for everyone. So I'm gaining a bit of time out of Varnage, which is good. Getting the car slowed right down, turned in, and I'm able to get on the power a little bit earlier because I can open up the steering as the car's straightened up out of the corner. He's still out. Interesting. It's getting very interesting. There's only 2 LMPs left. Technical difficulties with sim racing. Internet dropouts. High ping rates. It's extremely difficult. Ooh, nearly overcooked that. That just about ended up in disaster. Crazy. 5 minutes, 45 seconds to go. There will be one more lap. And it looks like Mr. Doble may have just done it. Oof. That was crazy. Living life on the edge. Too much on the edge for my liking, I'm afraid. Has Mr. Doble done it? Has he been able to stretch his fuel? Or maybe he's done what I did. And he's been fuel saving. But I mean, he took off like a rocket. Excuse me. Well, you never know. If Joshua gets round for another... If he gets round before that clock goes 0, we'll be on for another lap. And I've still got 2 laps of fuel left. Session best by Mr. Bolger. Righto. Well, actually, yeah. Now I have 1 lap left. 1 lap of fuel left. I'm gonna cross the line before that clock goes to 0, I think. Mr. Hill is 5.5 seconds behind me. Well, that was... See? Concentrating. Not focused on what's going on in front of me. Probably didn't need to go on the grass there, but I wasn't sure how much room he had given me. Leader has 2 laps to go. Leader's on the final lap. Where are we? Matt may just have done it. Two laps to go. Freak me the bloody hell out. I thought he was in... Oh, Mr. Modretsky, eh? Practiced in an LMP car all week and then jumps in a GTE at the very end. Well, I think we started 14th. I'm not sure if that was 14th overall grid. Probably was. So take 6 off that. I started about 8th. And it looks like I'm finishing 3rd. Ish. Third in class, that is. Just in case I have to do another lap, shall save a bit of fuel. Not gonna catch the leaders of GTE. Not gonna catch the GTE leaders. But it may well be 2 laps. Jeez. Hope not. Nine leaders. Race is over, yes! So we're 4 laps down on the LMP cars. But that's okay. I'm happy with that. A 3rd place finish for my first race with the GT Club. I'd like to thank the GT Club. Good on you, Joshua. Good race, mate. Deserve to be happy. Thank the GT Club for letting me race with them tonight. Was good fun. It's funny how 2.4 hours just disappears away. It doesn't feel like I've been in the seat for 2 hours and 24 minutes, but that's exactly what it has been. It's exactly what it has been. So we'll get back to the pits, park it up, and I did it on 1 track warning. Congratulations to Mr. Modretsky and to Matt Doble for their 1st and 2nd. Good race, lads. Now, I mean, really, we should all drive back to the pits. You know, just because we can quit from the server doesn't mean we should. Matt and I'll have to get Mr. Modretsky's name. They are driving back to the pits. Oh, there we go. Well guys, there it is. And what a race it was. Some mad fuel saving from the midpoint of the second stint. Managed to save myself enough fuel that I was able to get away with just the 4 pit stops. So 14th to 3rd, that's a pretty good result for me. As always, I'm happy if I finish inside the top 10, but to get a podium spot in my first race with GT Club and my first online race with Assetto Corsa, I'm pretty happy about that. So I hope you enjoyed it. As again, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you for the next one in a month's time. Cheers guys, be safe, and I'll see you around the next corner.